Hi there, I'm Alex Messenger, author of The 29th Day Surviving a Grizzly Attack in the Canadian Tundra. And right now we're at the beautiful grounds of the historic Glen Sheen Mansion in Duluth, Minnesota. We've got some storms on the way, so we've got a bit of a time crunch, but for right now we've got an absolutely gorgeous fall day. The 29th Day is my debut memoir. It came out last November. And it tells the story of my surviving a grizzly attack in northern Canada when I was just 17 years old. The attack happened in 2005, 29 days into a 42-day whitewater canoe trip. And this memoir tells the story of that incredible and terrifying experience, but also the amazing experience of this wilderness trip, which in itself was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. After this was released in November of last year, it's been really well received by readers and reviewers. It made it onto the Wall Street Journal bestseller list, which was really exciting, the Midwest Independent Booksellers bestseller list. Outside magazine listed it as a top winter read, Backpacker magazine, and it was also on the Meat Eater podcast. So it's been really exciting to have the book get out there. I hope you get a chance to take a look at it and read it. I hope it's inspiring for you. It gets you outside with some of the lessons that I learned along the way so that you don't have to learn them yourself. You can find the book anywhere books are sold. I hope you support the Twin Cities Book Festival vendors. You can find me online at www.alexmessenger.com or on the social spaces at a messenger photo. And I hope to see you there. Thanks so much for joining me. Looks like the storm front's about to hit us. Take care.
Hi. Bye.
That was Owen. He's the oldest of my two sons. My name is Reed Forgrave. I'm an author here in the Twin Cities in lovely and soon to be extremely cold Minneapolis. And I don't have Owen out here just as a shameless prop, even though I do think he's really cute 8-year-old. I have him out here because in many ways, I spent much of my time while I was writing this book, my first book, Love, Zach, thinking about Owen and thinking about my 4-year-old son, Lincoln. This book is about a 24-year-old man named Zach Easter. He's from small town Iowa. In 2015, 6 days before Christmas, he died by suicide, and he left behind all these writings, all these journals that explained his descent into CTE that he blamed on playing football from 3rd grade through high school. He played it fearlessly. He played it, some would say, recklessly. He had many, many concussions. And his writings are a very stark portrait of a young man's demise. But this is not a sports book. Yes, it's about sports, but really what this book is about is parenting. It's a book about masculinity. It's a book about our addiction to football and to violence. It's a book about what we value as a nation. Zach Easter left behind explicit instructions to his parents, to his girlfriend, and then after I met his family 2 weeks after his death. By extension, these became sort of my instructions to spread his story. This is not an anti-football book. This is not a pro-football book. Ultimately, what I think this book does is brings you a little bit deeper in touch with humanity, especially for such a strong alpha male. Zach is incredibly thoughtful. It is an incredibly sad story, but I do believe there's great worth in reading Zach Easter's story. So please go read my book.
Hi, my name is Eric Gutney, and I've got a new book out. It's called Far Out Man, Tales of Life in the Counterculture. It's a number of things. It's a history of America's counterculture over the last 50 years. It's the story of my formative and sometimes tumultuous relationships with two Minnesota writers, the legendary Robert Bly, the poet, and Brenda Ullin, who was my step-grandmother. It's also the story of Gutney Reader, the magazine I published and edited. It was started in 1984 and chronicled the emerging culture and offered the best of the alternative press. And finally, Far Out Man is a call to arms to baby boomers to step back up and finish what we started. I hope you read it, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hi, my name is Kaiya Solvay Pruis, and I am thrilled and honored to be part of this year's Minnesota Book Festival. My first book, The War Requiem, published by Essay Press, really started here at St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota. It was here that I was in chapel choir and I sang this piece of music, The War Requiem, written by Benjamin Britten, and it was so difficult to learn. It's not what many would say beautiful, but it is amazing. It is harsh, it is strained, and it really could not let me go even after I left this campus. So I knew that I needed to try to write something about it. Benjamin Britten originally wrote The War Requiem in order to commemorate the Coventry Cathedral's bombing towards the end of World War II. And in this piece of music, he layered so many things together, including the Latin Mass for the Dead and 9 poems written by World War I soldier poet Wilfred Owen, who died tragically a week before the end of World War I. So he took all of these things together to create a really complex piece of music. And I wanted to try to write something that was audacious, like what he created, and was bold, and really tried to dig into lots of different themes of life and death and art and what we do to make sense of this world when it's harsh. So what I did was I created a braid. I took 3 narrative strands, one of myself trying to learn how to sing this piece, one of Benjamin Britten writing the piece, and then one of Wilfred Owen finding his voice in the midst of trench warfare. And I took all of these threads and I broke them apart and I wove them together to create a piece that I hope speaks to what art can do for us and what art can do for the world. So it's my hope that if someone's interested in art or creation of any kind, they'll find something for themselves in this book. For more information, you can visit my website, kaiyaprois.com. Thank you so much and enjoy the festival.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Slatt, and I wrote Owls of the Eastern Ice, published this year from Farrar, Straus & Giroux, and it's been longlisted for a National Book Award for Nonfiction. This is a true story about my experiences in Russia searching for, finding, and protecting Blakiston's fish owl. These are the largest owls in the world. They're salmon eaters. They have 6-foot wingspan and stand about 2.5 feet tall. They're also in danger. But it's not just a book about owls. It's a book about the people who share the forest with the owls, those who live, hunt, and fish there. And it's also about fieldwork, showing the beauty and the peace of solitude in the forest, but also about the legwork, the sweat, and the significant discomfort that goes into a research project like this. Although the book takes place in Russia, I live in South Minneapolis, and here I'm along the Minnehaha Creek. The water in the forest at this particular spot remind me of where I might look for these owls in Russia. The water here is just the right depth for these owls to hunt, and some of the old-growth cottonwoods around here are big enough for these enormous owls to nest in. I take an almost perverse pleasure in coming here to walk during inclement weather, rain and sleet and snow, to relive what it's like to be in the field. I invite you all to experience the wilderness of Russia with me. Pick up Owls of the Eastern Ice and learn about a marvelous bird. Meet a 9-figured hermit. Get stranded by a blizzard for weeks at an abandoned hydroelectric station and almost drowned a bunch of times. Come on, it'll be great.
Hello, my name is Carolyn Holbrook. I am the author of Tell Me Your Names and I Will Testify, a memoir written in connected essays. The essays were written over many years, and they cover the time from when I was a pregnant 16-year-old incarcerated in the Minnesota juvenile justice system to my current life as a writer, an arts activist, and a teacher of creative writing. My book also reveals how I heeded the lessons of those who came before me as I made my way through various forms of trauma and built a career while raising 5 children alone after leaving an abusive marriage. While I trace my path from a troubled childhood to a leadership position in the Twin Cities literary arts community, I hope I show the power of the storyteller's art to help us heal from the multiple issues we have to deal with on a daily basis. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Jessie Diggins, and my book that I want to share with you is Brave Enough by myself and Todd Smith, my amazing co-author. Now, I'm going to take you on a beautiful little stroll through Stratton, Vermont, because that's where I'm currently training and getting ready for the upcoming cross-country ski season. In addition to being an author, I am a currently competing cross-country athlete for the United States of America. And the thing that sparked this book was winning the first ever gold medal for men or women at the 2018 Olympics in Pyeongchang with my teammate Keegan Randall. It was a really exciting moment. It was so cool to get to rewrite history, show little girls and little boys what is totally possible when you put your mind to it and set goals and train with an amazing team around you. The other reason I wanted to write this book was because of the eating disorder that I struggled with when I was 18, 19 years old. It took a lot of help, a lot of perseverance, and a lot of learning about self-love to get through that. And it was so important to me to write a book that was going to empower and break a lot of stigmas and educate those of us who don't know too much about eating disorders. So I hope that this book gets you fired up to train. I hope that this book gets you thinking a little bit more deeply about mental health and how that connects to athletics and our self-esteem. And I hope it gets you excited to watch the Olympics, which will hopefully be happening pretty soon. So the book is Brave Enough by Jessie Diggins and Todd Smith. It also doubles as half a face mask. And if you want to follow more of my adventures, you can find me at jessiediggins.com or on Instagram under Jessie Diggins.
Hi, I'm Rachel Angeli, the author of Breast Belt Femme, which came out this past March from Belt Publishing. Breast Belt Femme is a memoir about my life growing up in Northeast Ohio, raised by a working class single mom, experiencing the reality of economic scarcity alongside deep love. Love for my mom, love for alternative 90s music and movies, love for the punk scene in the early 2000s, and love for Cleveland. Many readers say that the book is like a love letter to my mom, to music, to the industrial steel mills in Cleveland that all shaped me. And ultimately it is. It is a book about love and how I wouldn't be who I am today, a queer femme, professor and writer, without it. Interestingly, all my writing about Ohio took place in another place that I ended up calling home, Minneapolis. So much of the book was written in coffee shops in Kingfield. Special shout out to Royal Grounds Coffee House. Hi, Jim and Joanne. So I hope that maybe you could enjoy a story about one Midwest city written in another Midwest city, and also get ready to have a lot of Alanis Morissette stuck in it. You can buy the book at beltpublishing.com.
Oh, cool. The BBC. A documentary. Oh, cool. Prince. I love Prince.
I first sort of got interested in him professionally in 1985 when I was writing for Rolling Stone magazine, and suddenly this kind of scoop fell into my lap. The Howard Hughes.
Oh my God!
Was going to talk, and so it's rather peculiar. All.
That was, dig that Don Johnson jacket. Dig that 1990s Billy Joel hair. I apologize for everyone. That was literally half a lifetime ago for me. And I haven't written a word about Prince since then. Until literally today, when a book came out that I wrote called This Thing Called Life by St. Martin's Press, about my 30-year friendship with him, which included 3 Rolling Stone cover stories and a rock opera and assorted Michigas. But I've been talking about the book nonstop for all week. So I think I'm going to stop talking and let him talk. Let's see what he has to say. No one ever hears him talk, so.
How about the music scene in Minneapolis? I mean, the fact that they weren't playing you when they were playing you in New York and LA. I mean, the radio stations.
To start being honest, I didn't think about it. I mean, a lot of noise has been made about it, but I really didn't think about it. I figured one day they would. I remember the day that they did. I heard 1999 on a pop station. I mean, it was no big deal because I had heard it.
And that's him, and that's me. Thanks.
Hi, it's John Moe. Thank you so much for including me in the Twin Cities Book Festival. And I'm looking forward to the festival and going on all the book rides and petting all the book animals at the animal petting zoo. So the instructions for this said to find someplace that inspires you. And given that I've written a book about depression, I thought it would be appropriate to go to the dumpster behind an Arby's. So over at the Arby's right now, I don't know if you could see it, somebody walked up to the drive-thru and is trying to get some food. And I can't actually get to the dumpster itself because it's shut off from the public. But maybe you can see. Oh yeah, check that out. All right, so anyway, this is my book, The Hilarious World of Depression, and it's been quite a year. The book came out in May, and it's been really great to hear from fans of the book, people for whom an open discussion about mental health and depression and just dragging these issues out into the sunlight and kind of trying to get away from the shame that has come with them. People say that the book has helped them a lot. And so since the book has come out, I've been really celebrating its publication and talking to people about the issues in the book. And then at the same time, doing stuff like getting laid off from my job and, experiencing a global deadly pandemic. And yeah, it's been really something. But you know what? I have hope. You gotta find hope. And something like a book festival where we go on the book merry-go-round is really inspiring to me. So thank you. The Hilarious World of Depression by John Moe is my book. That's an Arby's.
Hi there. I'm Scott Carpenter. I'm here to talk to you about a book. I brought you to one of my favorite places. I don't know if you can see it, but right over there is the airport. You remember the airport and airplanes? Those things we used to get into, and after a few hours you'd walk out of them, magically transported to some other place. We used to call that travel. I have to say, 2020 is kind of a weird year to bring out a travel book, but here it is. It's called French Like Moi, a Midwesterner in Paris. Don't freak out. You don't have to get the hardcover. It's available in paper and ebook and audiobook. It came out in July, same month that the French government banned all Americans, including Midwesterners, from setting foot in their country. But don't worry, turns out you can still visit Paris virtually. You just get to have me for a seatmate. Fair warning, I like to hog the armrest. It throws together two polar opposites. You know, Paris, which everybody thinks of as sexy, sleek, and luxurious, and the Midwest, which everyone thinks of as, well, they don't really think about it much at all. But French Like Moi ends up being like one of those volcanoes that we used to make in elementary school. Remember? You shove a bunch of baking soda in it, add some vinegar, and then stand back. It's a book of hilarious disasters. Well, the kind that are hilarious afterwards. We didn't have a whole lot of money, so we got an apartment in one of the less touristy places. That means that I get to tell about being picked up by the police, dealing with the medical system, joining the homeowners association, and, well, running around in the maze of tunnels that goes under the city. I also get to introduce you to a lot of wonderful Parisians. The woman who plots the demise of her neighbors, my bossy friend Sabine, my doctor, the concierge in the building, because, after all, travel is all about meeting people. You'll find I learned a lot about what makes the French French and Midwesterners Midwestern. I hope you'll like it. And who knows, maybe it won't be too long before you can come out here to the airport, get on one of those plane things, and jet off to Paris yourself.
Hi, I'm Julie Jo Severson, author of Secret Twin Cities, a guide to the weird, wonderful, and obscure. It's no secret the Twin Cities is a vibrant place to live and visit, but it's also full of the unexpected. Did you know Minneapolis is home to the world's largest Sherlock Holmes collection? It contains more than 60,000 items related to the fictional detective, and is locked away in these underground caverns behind me, which, by the way, are the size of 2 football fields. Did you know that this historic tunnel on the east end of St. Paul leads to a former immigrant shantytown? It's now a lovely, quiet park hidden 120 feet below street level with a walking and biking path that goes for miles. Loaded with backstories, photographs, and insider tips, Secret Twin Cities takes readers on a whimsical tour through the lens of the unusual. Let's take a quick tour right now. Cities in a whole new light. It also makes a fun and informative gift for everyone on your list.
Inside Little John's, there was always a barrel full of pungent brine. And swimming in that brine were the largest dang dill pickles you've ever seen. Bigger than any pickles I've seen since. And it wasn't just that they were big. They were fully pickled, so thoroughly saturated that the first bite would make you purse your lips in a tight vinegared clench. For a quarter, I would dive into that barrel and spear my catch. Then I'd go back to school, obviously unconcerned with the damage that pickle might do to my natural cologne. I remember walking out of Little John's with this big pickle and literally skipping up the street. Skipping, I tell you. And in this memory, the sun fanned brilliant light all around, and the bricks were a vivid red, and the asphalt the deepest black, and I was just so happy. I relay this memory to prove that I was once innocent. Only someone who was without guilt can skip. The slightest weight of guilt will take the skip right out of your gate. On this day, there were no suspicious eyes on me, no sense of outsiderness, of being a demon or a criminal. I was just the happiest little black boy eating my dill pickle and tra-la-lying to school. You may think that the innocence of a child is self-evident. Yet in some strange but undeniable way, our culture robs children of color and most other marginalized children of a reasonable chance to know and experience what I am calling innocence. This void of knowledge and experience of feeling innocent, when combined with other societal and economic issues, often results in children feeling an attitude of apathy or even aversion to authority and to the idea that they can ever be anything but guilty. It's a destiny of sorts, but it doesn't have to be that way. Read The Innocent Classroom by Alex Pate. Thank you.
Hi, I'm William Souter, and I'm the author of a new biography of John Steinbeck called Mad at the World.
This is where I wrote the book.
And this is the view from the room where I wrote the book.
This is what it looked like when I was done.
And this is the book. So John Steinbeck died just over a half century ago, but he is very much a writer for the moment we are living in right now. Steinbeck's greatest works, The Grapes of Wrath, and Of Mice and Men, The Red Pony, and Dubious Battle, these are all books from the 1930s when Steinbeck was writing about one of the great calamities of the last century, which was the Great Depression. Steinbeck was an angry writer, a writer whose empathy for the downtrodden and the dispossessed came through in all of his works, even the lighter-hearted ones, but particularly so in those novels of the Great Depression. Steinbeck was concerned with the effects of forced human migration, with damage to the climate, and with income inequality. And all those things, of course, are themes that animate our lives today. So I encourage you to take a look at Mad at the World. I think you'll like it. It's out this month from Norton on the 13th.